Rachel Maddow tonight reminded us why millions of Americans respect and watch her every night because she used her program to tear into Ronna McDaniel and NBC for hiring her. Here she is giving a perfect recap of how Ronna McDaniel was essential in helping Donald Trump undermine our democracy.
The person who was the head of the Republican Party during Donald Trump's time in office and during his effort to throw out the election result and stay in power anyway, and during his effort to run for election again after having done that, is Ronna Romney McDaniel. And she pitched in and helped. She helped set in motion the part of the plot that involved sending fake Trump electors to Congress from states that Trump did not win. So Republicans in Washington could use those fake, fraudulent elector slates to contend that maybe Trump did win those states, even though he didn't. And don't believe me on that. There she is on page 23 and page 27 of the federal indictment charging Donald Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States. There's her personal appearance in this scene of the crime, as alleged by the U.S. Justice Department in this ongoing criminal case. In Michigan, where the fake electors are themselves now on trial, she told the state of Michigan in writing explicitly, do not certify the election results. The Detroit News has reported that with Donald Trump on the phone with her, she directed Michigan election officials to not certify the vote. She told them, quote, do not sign it. We will get you lawyers. She pitched in. She was part of the project. And what was the project? It was to use the power of the Republican Party, Republican officials in the states, Republican office holders in Washington, the national Republican Party that she runs, to use the party's power to reject election results, to take over the government and hold power by other means. And this project is now ongoing, right? Now the project is to tell the American people that those efforts around the 2020 election were righteous. That 2020 election, it wasn't okay. Those election results were not correct. We shouldn't believe American elections. We shouldn't believe American elections are real elections. American election results should not be seen as real. They should not be respected. That's the project now, right?
And Maddow wasn't done there. She warned us that McDaniel is continuing her efforts to try to undermine our democracy and elections in the future.
But we do defend ourselves as an institution. Not because we're personally offended by the way that we're treated, but because a free and uncowed press is necessary for our democracy. A free and uncowed press is part of our system of government. We stand up for ourselves as a way of standing up for our country and for our Constitution, the First Amendment to which makes it possible for us to exist at all. And so I want to associate myself with all my colleagues, both at MSNBC and at NBC News, who have voiced loud and principled objections to our company putting on the payroll someone who hasn't just attacked us as journalists, but someone who is part of an ongoing project to get rid of our system of government. Someone who still is trying to convince Americans that this election stuff, it doesn't really work. That this last election, it wasn't a real result. That American elections are fraudulent. Because that argument, that is a necessary part, that is the most necessary part of the overall project of getting us as Americans to give up on this election stuff. Because wouldn't we rather have a real man in charge anyway? Somebody who could really get some stuff done. If only we could clear away all the things in his way. We have a long history in this country of forgettable men telling us that we need a new system of government where everything's under their control and politics is over and this new strongman way of government is gonna make America great again. We have had a lot of these guys. But our generation's version of this guy has gotten a lot farther than all the rest of them. And why is that? He would have been as forgotten as all the rest of them had he not been able to attach himself to an institution like the Republican Party. And had the leader of that party in his time not decided that she wouldn't just abide him, she would help. she would help with the worst of it.
I did not know that Ronna McDaniel's old name was Ronna Romney McDaniel. Lawrence O'Donnell taught me that during a segment in his show, which he also dedicated to NBC's hiring of Ronna McDaniel.
My first question would be, why did you change your name for Donald Trump? Before Trump ran for president, her name was Ronna Romney McDaniel. How does that feel, to change your name to curry favor with a madman because he doesn't like your uncle? How did you explain that to your kids? What lesson did your kids learn from that? And I mention her kids because she always mentions her kids and that she's a mother whenever she is speaking publicly.
Lawrence O'Donnell asking Ronna McDaniel about what her kids would think of the name change is so symbolic of what the next generation is going to think about the Republican Party and the chaos that they're involved in these days. The Republican Party that has made a huge mistake tying itself to Donald Trump, and Americans who have made a huge mistake in voting for Republicans. Huge mistakes that we need to reflect on and make right. That is important to not only me and this channel, which is why I called it Reflect, but to the future of our democracy. And Rachel Maddow perfectly broke down why that is.
We are contending with this now, not from William Dudley Pelley's brown shirt militias, right? But from the multi-billion-dollar massive political operation of one of the two governing parties of the United States of America. And that's new. and with our country up against something that daunting and that scary and that dangerous for the country, I think bad decisions will inevitably happen. Mistakes will be made. But part of our resilience as a democracy is going to be recognizing when decisions are bad ones and reversing those bad decisions. Hearing legitimate criticism, responding to it, and correcting course. Not digging in, not blaming others. Take a minute. Acknowledge that maybe it wasn't the right call. It is a sign of strength, not weakness, to acknowledge when you were wrong. It is a sign of strength. And our country needs us to be strong right now.
If you like these videos and agree that we need to keep Donald Trump as far away from the White House as possible, subscribe because I want to hear from you down in the comments. Thanks for watching. My name is Brendan Plank with Reflect, and I'll see you in the next video.